What's going on, people? Hope everyone's good. So it seems I've annoyed the Lando Norris fans, the 15 to 50 of them that still exist. They're not happy with what I'm doing, pointing out the double standards, the bias at McLaren. They're even saying that there's no favoritism at McLaren, which is just wild to say, But this is who they are. They make excuses. They want this championship win to be on merit, which it will never be. It will never be on merit. That's why anyway. I was warning McLaren, the backlash. Obviously, like I said, what happened to Kimi was wrong, but that was an indicator. That was just 2 points that Kimi gave Lando towards a championship. Can you imagine if he actually wins it, how people would feel? And again, death threats, abuse is wrong. I'm not advocating for that. I'm not saying it's okay. But what I'm saying is the reason it happened is because of that. Yeah? But I want to quickly do this video because I really want to show people how just how ridiculous this whole thing is, really. And why do they support Lando Norris for? We'll start with Lewis Hamilton. Why do people support Lewis Hamilton? First of all, he's the only black driver ever in Formula One history representing people that don't usually see themselves in a sport, a setting, an environment. He represents that. He's a good man. He's a good man. Do you know what I mean? His morals, his outlook on the world, everything. He's a really good man. But even setting aside those two things, in terms of the driver himself, the greatest. Right now, he's going through a bit of a slump. But in terms of what he's achieved in his career, it's amazing. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely amazing. That's why people support Lewis Hamilton. Extremely talented. Probably, like people have said, the most talented driver that's ever come into Formula One, right? A great person through and through. Against the odds story as well. I didn't add that one in, but he really did have that against the odds story. And yeah, like I said, he's an underrepresented group in Formula One. So that's what draws people to him too, right? Those are the reasons people support Lewis Hamilton. Let's move on. Now, why would some people support George Russell? Okay, I'm just going to do it from a George Russell fan perspective. George Russell is popular with teenage girls and young women. I'm just going to leave that one day. I'm not going to get into it, but that's the first thing. The second thing is, whether or not you find him snaky or whatever, he's backed his shit up. Do you know what I mean? He's gone out there, beat Lewis Hamilton. People said it was sabotage. Do you know what I mean? We'll never really know based on how things are going at Ferrari. But George Russell has backed up most of what he said. Some of the things he said is crazy, like, yeah, I'll beat a prime Lewis Hamilton. George, go chill somewhere. Do you know what I mean? But generally, he has backed up what he has said. That's why people like him. He's fast, right? He's proven somewhat. That's why George Russell gets support. Yeah? Let's move on to Max Verstappen. Now, people will hate Max Verstappen for the rest of their lives based on 2021. But why do people like Max Verstappen? Max Verstappen is the realest driver on the grid. If he doesn't like you, he will tell you he does not like you. He's not going to pretend. He's not going to act fake with you. Yeah? He is extremely talented. Extremely talented. Yeah? If you can set aside 2021 and just look at the thing as a purist, you appreciate Max Verstappen's speed, 100%. That's why a lot of people support Max. No nonsense, no political stuff, hair to race, purists, right? And he'll tell you it as it is. And he's talented. You may deny it still. I don't understand why. Max is extremely talented. So cool. That's why people support Lewis so far. That's why people support George so far. That's why people support Max so far. Why would some people support Oscar Piastri? Oscar Piastri is still relatively new to Formula One, right? This is his third year and he was challenging for the championship, leading it for a significant portion of time. He's third on the all-time list for consecutive finishes in Formula One. Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri in all of Formula One history. He has no business on that list already. He's usually calm, collected, he doesn't show off. He's a real chill, down to earth guy. Do you know what I mean? Who's extremely talented as well. Extremely talented. That's why some people, like myself, who's British as well, but apparently has to support the Brit, I support Oscar Piastri because of that. He's calm, cool, collected, talented. Yeah, he's a cool guy. Do you know what I mean? And I really feel bad for him. But that is why a lot of people support Oscar Piastri, and he has a lot of support in the UK. Loads of support in the UK too. Why would some people support Charles Leclerc? Charles Leclerc is another guy that has an amazing outlook of the world, right? Remember, George Russell wanted to just beat Lewis Hamilton and get the respect for it. Charles Leclerc wanted to learn from Lewis Hamilton, and he's really upset, I can tell, that that's not how things have unfolded. And he doesn't really care about beating Lewis Hamilton this year, you know? Fast driver, incredibly talented, loyal. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, yeah, the model thing is there as well. He's popular with women, but it's more than that. Do you know what I mean? He's just a fast driver, humble, talented, beat a 4-time world champion, you know, Sebastian Vettel, and now he's beaten a 7-time world champion. You know, Charles is a very, very talented driver, and his time will come. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I've given you reasons why people support Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, and Charles Leclerc. I'm even going to do an additional one and add Valtteri Bottas in here. Why do some people support Valtteri? Funny guy, never made any excuses, took accountability, never tried to play to the media, oh, I feel like there's, you know, dodgy things happening at Mercedes. Nope. Like I said, took accountability. Lewis is a better driver than me. Never showed any anger or animosity towards Lewis. He just accepted it. And he's a funny guy. Do you know what I mean? That's why people support Valtteri. Yeah? Now, Lando Norris fans, please enlighten us. Why do you support Lando for? Because I'm not even trying to hate. I'm curious. What is there to support? What does he stand for? What does he stand for? What does he mean to you? What has he done for you? What has he done in Formula One to deserve that respect? Who has he beaten? Huh? See, for me, and a lot of people aren't going to like this, but it's the same, I'm sorry. Adrian Newey builds a rocket ship next year, right? Lawrence Stroll at the start of the season says we are entering the Stroll era. I can't even laugh. I can't even say that without laughing. I'm sorry. Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll are basically the favourites for the championship. Lance Stroll all of a sudden starts kicking Fernando Alonso's ass. Or, you know, you see what you see this year. You see Fernando winning, then something happened to Fernando. Next thing you know, Lance catches up. And, you know, all these things are happening for Lance. Oh, Fernando, move out the way for Lance. X, Y, Z. What would people say? People would say, hold on a minute. Aston Martin are sacrificing a talented driver for Stroll to win a championship. They're engineering this 100%. There's no way that Lance Stroll is faster than Fernando Alonso. But all of a sudden, when they have the best car, he is, all of a sudden. Now, I know it's not a direct comparison because Lawrence Stroll is running Aston Martin. Adam Norris isn't running McLaren. But the situation is similar. Two very wealthy men involved in teams who have sons that they essentially bought their way into Formula One. And given the fact that they were able to purchase their seats in Formula One, what else is for sale? What else could you purchase in Formula One? A win? A championship maybe? Because realistically, that's all we know. That's what's been documented to us, right? Adam Norris bought Lando Norris' seat for 35 or 55 million, whatever it was, right? Cool. That's all we know. What else is happening behind the scenes that we're not aware of, right? So yeah, again, I've given legit reasons why people support Lewis, George, Oscar, Leclerc, and Max Verstappen, right? These Lando Norris fans will come here and be like, oh, I support Lando because he gets so much abuse. He doesn't get abuse. He doesn't get abuse. He gets held to a standard, right? Lando Norris has opened up his mouth and said things he didn't have no business saying. Do you know what I mean? That's why he gets what he gets. No one else has really opened up their mouth the same way and discredited someone else's legacy or downplayed their achievements. And then when it's their time now and they're struggling, oh, it's a bit different for me. Like Max talking about, oh, I'd win in his car. Do you remember that? Oh, Max has no idea what he's talking about. So all of a sudden you think you're on Max Verstappen's level. Because that's all Max is saying. If I was in that car, I would win. It would be over by now. Because I'm a better driver. Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. What are you talking about? Yeah? That's the reason, because the guy opens up his mouth and says some stupid things sometimes. That's why we make videos and content about him, which you call abuse. We're not abusing him. We're not going to his page, calling him out, saying nasty things to him, death threats, none of that. But we will hold him to a standard. We will hold him accountable for the things he said and done. And that's why that's why this championship win will be so unpopular. In the last race, he literally said to the team, I can't do it. I need help. What is that? Do you think a boxer could ever say, oh, I can't do it, I need help in the middle of a fucking fight? But that's just me being real, man. But if you are a fan of someone that I've named and I missed your reason, add it. Some people might be Lewis Hamilton fans and say I'm a fan of the hardship that he goes through and he overcomes it. Yeah, that might be a reason too. Some people might be a fan of Charles Leclerc, in the capacity of him being talented outside of Formula One. He can play the piano, he can do different things. Again, I don't feel like it's really relevant to the sport itself, but if that's your reason, that's your reason, But please, Lando Norris fans, tell me why you actually support Lando Norris. What does he stand for? What has he done in Formula One to deserve your support? That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. But as always, let me know what you think. I hope you're all having a great day. Until next time, guys, take care.